What is up? We have some shit to talk about Trump today. So we got Trump in a rally a couple days ago. He was in a rally. Maybe it was a day ago, I don't know, I forget which. Donald Trump was having a rally where he was for 30, I think it was 32 minutes straight or 36 minutes straight, literally just playing music and like swinging himself around like a freak. And he was playing YMCA, Ave Maria, all these like weird, bizarre songs to run for a campaign, right? Doesn't make any sense. And then during that rally, there was two people that had a medical emergency, and I guess after like 2 or 3 minutes, they got the help that they needed. But it was just so weird, so weird. The guy's a decrepit old man, a bozo. The guy slurs his words in every speech. Actually, I think worse than Joe Biden does. And you got these people going to vote for him. You got a guy that talks about immigrants eating cats and dogs, legal immigrants, mind you. And after he made those remarks in that debate, those same people of Springfield, Ohio, actually faced death threats and bomb threats in their schools. Their schools had to go in lockdown because you had people on the right wing believing all of his nonsense and spreading hate, right? Believing the misinformation. I think recently he came under more legal action from other various music artists. So I got a good old snippet of them. It's actually a total of at least 20 that I know of that I just wrote down. So we got Adele, Beyonce, Brandon Urie, Earth, Wind and Fire, Foo Fighters, George Harrison, Guns N' Roses, Seven Nation Army, Linkin Park, Neil Young, Nickelback, Ozzy Osbourne, Farron, Prince, R.E.M., Rihanna, Rolling Stones, Tom Petty, Steven Tyler, and Queen literally are all giving him legal action to not use their music. And for those of you that don't know, you actually have to obtain permission from your political campaign to use their music. And this guy's a bozo, doesn't know how to run a campaign, and he's been doing it for 3 cycles in a row, doesn't know what he's doing, he's an idiot. Didn't obtain the permission, nor probably would they allow the permission because they don't like him and they don't stand for what he represents, which is just hatred and dividing this country apart and saying that the election was stolen and spreading misinformation, right, and deregulating consumer protections for people like you and me. Meanwhile, his rich buddies walk out the back door with your money and tax cuts for the wealthy. So these 20 artists literally either gave him a cease and desist warning from their lawyers, are suing them, in the process of suing them for damages, for money to use that, or already have sued him, right? 20 of them, not 1, not 2, not 3, 20 musical artists. Do I think it's a witch hunt? No. Nope. It's not 1, it's not 2, it's 20. It's 20 musical artists that are suing you because you don't know how to obtain permission. Because remember, these are under record company deals and everything else. You have to have permission to use these songs. The guy didn't do it because he's an idiot, doesn't know how to run a campaign. He's literally swinging around for 32 minutes, 36 minutes straight in a rally, answers 3 questions in his town hall. And all 3 questions were from his stupid audience that were talking about inflation. Meanwhile, inflation is at 2.5%, which is actually a good inflation rate, right? You don't want super negative or zero inflation, because then that would mean that the wages of workers aren't rising, right? But you also don't want high inflation because, the high price of costs and goods and services, right? And so you got the Trump people that are saying, oh, the price of inflation, the inflation. No, it's not inflation you got to worry about, you dumb motherfuckers. It is price gouging. And price gouging, Donald Trump has not even talked about, not once, because he's bought and paid for by those companies that are funding his campaign. Kamala Harris did actually make that in her campaign, talking about price gouging, talking about fining companies and actually regulating companies for price gouging, right? And they don't talk about that. Trump doesn't talk about that. Oh, what else? Oh, no, I repeated this before in another vlog. J.D. Vance, his running mate, J.D. Vance. I, I kid you not. J.D. Vance was lying about the price of inflation, and he compared it to a dozen of eggs, right? And he said, for a dozen of eggs, it's $4. And literally, lo and behold, in that exact video that he was talking, right behind his back, said the eggs right there, $2.99 a dozen. He's a lying sack of shit. And the people that vote for him, you're no good either, because you know what? You're voting for somebody that's going to screw you over at the end of the day. And you're proud of it. But they don't see that. They just see, oh, you're hating on Trump. Well, I might not like Trump, but it's not that's not the reason. The reason is because he's fucking you over, and it's going to fuck me over too. It's going to fuck all of us over. And they don't even realize it. Right? You got some of these people that vote for a Republican, and it's like, you're voting against your own interests. You're voting against these guys that are making it harder to unionize in a workplace, to make workplaces safer, to make negotiable wages better for workers, to tax the wealthy. They don't want to tax the wealthy. How popular? Democrats have, right? How popular, right? Are Democrats perfect? No. And I'll be the first one to say it. Democrats are not perfect. Look at John Fetterman, for example. He's bragging about Israel bombing to smithereens the civilians of Gaza, right? That are, I think, 43,000 deaths so far in Gaza, and 16,000 of them are children, right? And only about 5,000 of them are actually Hamas. So they targeted Israel alongside with support from the United States with money and weapons deals from the United States. Literally bombed 30 hospitals, right? And then what are they going to say? Oh, well, Hamas was in there. Bullshit. Even if there was, so what? You're gonna level a whole. They also targeted UN service workers that were providing aid to those civilians as it was, and they killed over 500 UN workers that were providing aid to those people. Israel and the United States, they're funding a genocide. There's no doubt about it. Democrats and Republicans still aren't doing shit. The only one that's actually doing anything is actually Bernie Sanders, the independent from Vermont, the senator from Vermont. People like to say that he's a kooky guy. He's not. He's just trying not to get you guys screwed over by companies and price gouging, and having to deal with bullshit inflation and COVID misinformation from these freaks. Yes, I say freaks because they are freaks, right? They try to get you killed during a pandemic from a virus, and then try to say that these vaccines give you blood clots and strokes and everything else, and it was all bullshit, right? Just because one person had an adverse effect to that does not mean that whole thing impacts everybody. Like, it was just so much misinformation, right? These people are freaks. They're straight up freaks. They're against raising wages for workers. They actually, yes, even Donald Trump, you can actually go and look it up on YouTube. Donald Trump said workers' wages are too high. Yes, he actually said that in a campaign speech. I believe it was in 2016 or 2020. He literally said that. He's not for you. Yeah, you can go ahead and vote for him. I'm not trying to convince you. I'm trying to convince your spouse, your kids, your daughters, your uncles, your nieces, your nephews, right? Because it's like, these people are getting screwed by the billionaire class, and they're propping up this billionaire that's literally selling Trump Bibles that are made in China, and they don't see the oxymoron there. And then also I saw in a video, it was a Trump merchandise store, and literally all of the stuff was not made in the United States. Okay, maybe one thing was, but I forget what it was. But everything else, it was literally all made in China, Bangladesh, Singapore, all these countries with terrible labor laws that do not protect their workers. They work in sweatshops, right? But yet you guys want to defend that? What do you guys got for that? Because he always says about America first, right? Oh, all your merchandise is made outside the United States, you piece of shit. Oh, you also fail to realize that in the 1980s and 90s, he also discriminated against black communities in his neighborhood. Yeah, he actually did that. They don't care. right? Now, if they genuinely were pro-life, then you wouldn't be voting for this guy. This guy's not pro-life. And the whole abortion issue, they don't get the abortion issue. They're misinformed, they're uneducated about it. They go in their feelings and they say, "Oh no, it's ripping children and crashing their skulls." That's literally what the governor of Florida said. Not Was it the governor or senator? Maybe Senator Rick Scott, I think it was. Maybe governor. I don't know. I forget which position he has, but hopefully the Democrat wins in Florida. But he was basically saying that Rick Scott was saying that that abortion works, which is bullshit. It's all made up. They don't know how anything works. I don't even think they know what a vagina looks like. They don't even know how to deal with women. They don't care about women's reproductive health or women's rights or women's issues. They don't care. They don't care about you. They never did, right? And the people that literally vote for those guys, you guys are the problem. You guys make this country worse. You make this country unhappy. You take the joy out of this country. You really do. You really do. You take the joy, the greatness of this country, and just bring it in the mud. They do, right? You had Rick Scott literally telling how abortion works, and it was bullshit, but he was saying how, like, they crush the skulls of babies and shit. I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? What the fuck, right? But he's not really he's just trying to get the people that are already on that are lured in by the fear, right? That's what it is, it's fear, right? That's how Republicans work. Now, all of the issues that Donald Trump is running on, immigration, all this stuff, Democrats literally proposed a solution. And what happened? Republicans, yes, literally Republicans voted against all of our bills to make those problems go away. Huh. Funny how that works, but you guys don't really care about the issues. You only want to do that when it's campaign season. Right? Like immigration. We had an immigration bill that was done by the Oklahoma senator, a Republican, hardcore Republican, Oklahoma senator, I forget his name, that literally wrote up the legislation and was trying to get bipartisan support. We had all the support of the Democrats. We had some support from Republicans, but you had Daddy Trump literally telling them no to not vote for that because then he would have a campaign issue to run on. Now they're going to say, oh, there was some things in the bill that we didn't agree with. I saw that on one post on Facebook. I call bullshit. You guys don't care about the issues. You don't care about the issues unless Trump does it. And even if Trump doesn't do it, they'll say, oh, he did it, right? These are the same people that Donald Trump got fired by 81 million people in the last election. And they're going to say that you got it stolen. You lost by like 7 to 8 million votes. That was not cheated. You literally lost because your policies were unpopular. You literally got people killed during a pandemic saying that vaccines don't work. And maybe we could get a cleansing inside the body. Do you remember that shit? I remember that shit clearly, right? They don't care about you. They don't care about free healthcare, right? Or free college, right? They don't care about that. I don't think you should go in debt up to your ass, $40,000 on college or fucking, medical bills. Because remember, there's lots of people, even today, even with Obamacare, right? There's still people that go tens of thousands of dollars in medical debt, right? Where are Republicans on that? Oh, they don't give a shit. They don't give a shit. They say, oh, we want to repeal the Affordable Care Act. Okay, Donald Trump, what's your plan? And they asked him during the debate, what's your plan on health care? Well, I don't have a plan yet. I have concepts of a plan. Now, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do the Trump playbook back on Trump supporters and the Trump campaign. You've had, what is it? You had 12 years to come up with a fucking plan on health care. And you did nothing because you don't care about the people that you represent. You don't care about your own fucking base that fucking will, throw their family under the bus or divide people and, jump over hoops for you, right? That you bamboozle your own base. You profit off your own base by selling Trump Bibles. You sell all your Trump merchandise like a walking infomercial, right? He doesn't even care about his own base. What does that say about his character? The guy's he's no good. He's no good. Right? And just like in this thing, he's being sued or facing potential legal action from 20 musical artists. This is just one thing of him. There's 1,000 scandals every day with this guy that comes out. Every single thing that he says, almost every single thing, is a fucking lie. And you believe it, right? They believe it because they like him, right? It sounds good. The rhetoric sounds good. Oh, yeah, I'm going to put you first. Yeah. I want to see policy. Policy. Where's the policy at? Name one policy. They voted against the PRO Act, which makes unionizing in workplaces easier, right? Democrats did that. What about the, what was it, the Science and Chips Act or something like that? It was incentivizing semiconductors in the United States to make semiconductors here and incentivizing American businesses here to fucking produce semiconductors, right? To compete with China and other, foreign countries, right? That was done under Joe Biden. Donald Trump literally lost 178,000 manufacturing jobs by the end of his first term. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's done by an independent, nonpartisan fact check. You can look it up. It's factcheck.org. Factcheck.org. Inflation was what? Like 8% under him when he left office, right? Joe Biden inherited this mess, and we brought the inflation down, and we cooled it down to 2.5% with the help of the Federal Reserve lowering interest rates, right? And ironically enough, J.D. Vance got his own supporters, which are Trump supporters, right? He got his own supporters to boo for lower interest rates. To boo for lower interest rates. Who fucking boos, and I'm gonna quote Tim Walz here. Who boos for low interest rates? Venture capitalists. That's what it is. Fucking venture capitalists, rich fuck. Because low interest rates, that's a good thing. So like, I'll give an example. If my neighbor wants to buy a house, and now that the Federal Reserve now cooled rates on interest rates, which means that the economy's doing good, right? The inflation is cooling. The inflation is going down, right? 2.5%. Last month, I think it was 2.9%. You pay less interest from the bank to get out a mortgage or to pay for a vehicle or a side-by-side or a four-wheeler. These motherfuckers are booing for low interest rates. They are a cult. Does anybody see that? Do the MAGA people see that? Probably not. But look, you're literally booing for things that benefit you. They don't get it. They don't fucking care, right? And the people that vote for them regardless, you're just bad. You want to hurt your fellow neighbor, hurt your fellow coworker, or friend, or family, or friends, whoever. Because it's like, these are good things that benefit everybody. Well, almost everybody. Maybe not the wealthy, but it benefits working class people. And you guys are booing against it? Are you fucking serious? You partisan hacks? Like, these are things that benefit everyday people every day. Low interest rates. And you guys are booing against it. Are you fucking kidding me? You guys are so unpopular. This election shouldn't even be close. But unfortunately, how they develop their campaign and his misinformation, they all eat it up. They all eat up this misinformation. And if you Google search a lot of the shit that he says, it's a lie. It's either a full-out lie or misinformation or half-truths, right? To scare you into voting against your own interests. I'm not kidding. Look up the shit. Go on your computer, go on your phone, Google search it. They are not for you, right? Republicans typically are for the business class. Now, they might do a good thing every now and then, but very rarely, right? You have a Republican in Louisiana that made it a law. I think it's a law, which they got to take this. I think they're going to take this to the Supreme Court, and they're going to strike it down, hopefully. But under Republican leadership in the state of Louisiana, they have the 10 Commandments in every single school. And anybody that knows the Constitution or cares about the Constitution without getting any partisan bullshit into your ideology knows that that's a separation of church and state. You don't involve religion in the public education system at all. At all. Right? These people do. They want to run a theocratic authoritarian regime under him. Right? They don't care about you. He said wages were too high. He does not benefit you. right? Now, I could get it if you voted for him in 2016 because I voted for him in 2016. So I could get the first-time voters. But the second-time voters and the third-time voters, fuck no. I don't get you people. I don't. I straight up don't. I mean, when I voted for Trump in 2016, I thought, okay, we'll give it a shot, right? I mean, the worst case scenario, I could vote him out in the second term, and I did, right? So every time I voted for president, I've won. Each time my candidates won, and I plan to go 3 for 3, right? But it's like, he's not for you. He genuinely isn't, and I'm not even trying to like berate these people. I'm like, he's not for you. He's literally not for you. He wants to ramp up the escalation with Israel, now targeting Gaza, which they've already killed 43,000 civilians, 16,000 children, and only 5,000 of those people dead are actually Hamas people. The rest of those people are civilians. And the United States federal government has done nothing. We've done nothing. We've not even stopped their weapons deals, right? Even Joe Biden has not stopped the weapons deals. So shame on them and shame on Democrats, right? Because as a progressive, that's shameful. That's fucking shameful, right? America deserves better. Like, this is, I mean, we know this is wrong. This is wrong, right? But, yeah, I genuinely think, yes, we're going to win. Do I know how much? No. I'm hoping it's all the swing states, it's all the Rust Belt, it's all the Sun Belt. We win even the most conservative states, which are Georgia and North Carolina. Those were typically, the last 2 cycles ago, they were conservative. They would not fall to the conservative no matter what they did. Now people are waking up and realizing, even in these most conservative states, these are now at play, right? That tells you, as a Republican, your policies do not benefit working class people. They're not popular, right? They're not. They genuinely aren't, right? And here's the thing, it's like, and then you get into the Second Amendment people, and they think Democrats want to take their guns. And it's like, Kamala Harris is a Second Amendment owner. She owns a Glock, right? She's not going to take your guns away. We don't want to take your guns away, although that would be better. I mean, what I mean is, if you take the fucking handguns and the assault weapons out of the equation, you actually have a lot safer America. But it would take decades. People don't realize that. It's not gonna happen overnight. It's not gonna happen in a couple of years. Like, it would have to take like 20 to 30 years to see a rapid drop in gun violence, because you have all these guns in circulation, right? And that's what these gun owners don't realize, is even if we did do that, it takes decades, right? Under Joe Biden, crime is actually way low, and Donald Trump likes to lie to his base and say, crime is way up. No, it's not. Look at the FBI statistics. The FBI even said crime is way low. It's at an all-time low since the 50s or 60s. Under Donald Trump, crime was high. And honestly, I genuinely believe that it was his rhetoric and his division, literally division, against workers, against Democrats and Republicans. And it's like, it's not even a Democrat-Republican thing. It's a top-down. It's a working class versus the wealthy. That's what it is. Do you want to get screwed over? Cool. Vote for a Republican. You literally. And I'm not even saying this to be a partisan hack, because I go against Democrats that are, side with Republicans for, screwing over workers. It's like, you're literally voting to get screwed over more. You literally are. You literally are. Democrats literally try to legislate a minimum wage increase for this country. We haven't had a federal minimum wage increase since 2009, I think, or 2007. I don't know which. And it was under George Bush, right? And it was like, it's $7.25 still. The bare minimum wage, it should be $20 an hour, because $15 an hour is still not enough. But they don't even want to bump it up to even 15. Like, check that shit out. They don't want to bump it up to even 15. Republicans voted against us for raising the minimum wage for workers. So they don't care about you. They don't care about your family. They don't care about your kids. They don't care about your mother, your grandparents. They don't care about you, because they want to cut Social Security, they want to cut Medicare, and they didn't want to have Medicaid negotiate drug prices down. And guess what? We got that done under the Biden administration in just one term. We got that shit down to lower the price of insulin, and now there's a recent thing now where you got the Biden administration trying to negotiate down the price of Ozempic, which is a diabetic medicine, and also it can be used for weight loss. In the United States, it's $1,000 per one bottle. You know what it is in Germany? Like $100, right? Because they have a universal healthcare system. It's not ruled by private businesses, right? That's the difference between the United States healthcare system and Europe. You go to Canada, you know how much you pay? Zero. You get sick in Britain. You know what happens if you get sick in Britain? Guess what? Guess how much you pay? Zero. Zero. Comes out through your taxes. My critics, now people that are Trump supporters, they're gonna say they're gonna throw this buzzword around a lot in this election, and they're gonna say it. They're gonna say it tooth and nail. Socialism, communism, fascism. They're just gonna throw out these buzzwords. They don't care. They're just trying to scare you, right? They want to throw out these buzzwords because that's fear mongering. That's how they do it. That's how they're doing it with the immigrants. Oh, they're stealing your jobs. No, they're not. They're not stealing your jobs. They're model citizens that you literally shit on to make this country better. And I genuinely don't know why people vote for Trump. I think it's people that are genuinely not looking at the political stuff. They don't look at the stuff. They don't research it. They just see a thing on their phone. They're like, oh, that must be right? They don't look at it. They don't Google search it. They don't care, right? And it's unfortunate, because if you actually had the people that genuinely care about the issues, you'd be like, well, this is bullshit. This is all misinformation, right? Because I look at the shit and I'll be like, this motherfucker is voting for this and you're getting fucked over, right? Just saying. Is Kamala Harris perfect? No, right? I'm not in a cult, so I don't take everything the gospel truth of the Democrats. I'm not in a cult like Trump supporters are. I can critique my own candidate because I'm not in a cult. I'm not a partisan hack, right? I have my own independent thinking. Trump supporters don't. They don't care. They screwed over people like you. He failed to pay his own people many times over. Many times people didn't pursue legal action because it would take more money to hire a lawyer and go through the litigation process than to actually, get paid for their whole job. Union workers and all types of workers that constructed his businesses literally only got paid for half the amount that was due in their job. And they didn't want to pursue legal action because they couldn't afford it. Whereas him, he could do whatever he wants because he's rich, right? He's got all the money in the world. He's got all the resources in the world, right? He doesn't care about you. He never has and never will. He literally said in one campaign speech he could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and they would still vote for him. Sums it up. It's a cult. It's a cult. And if you vote for him, you're still a bad person. You don't care about your neighbor. You don't care about your community. You don't care about your You don't care about your family. You don't care about your friends. You don't care about your coworkers. You don't want to make lives better for immigrants. You don't want to make lives better for yourself. You are a self-hating, self-deprecating bigot. You really are. Remember, this is the same party that wants to dictate what women do with their bodies, mind you. If they are raped, sexually assaulted, if there's a genetic a genetic defect, a tear in the membrane for their child, like the child that they're conceiving, and they want to say, no, you still should have that kid born. No, that's their fucking choice. Stay the fuck out of their bedroom. And while we're on that point, this is the same people that are saying, we don't want gay people to get married. That should be legal in all 50 states. Why is that not a law? Oh wait, Republicans voted against us for that too. Which, mind you, that would create taxes to go towards many state governments and federal government programs that would benefit you, right? They don't care about you. They genuinely don't care about you, right? And a lot of the times it's these old white folks, God bless them, but it's these old white folks that are just the status quo. And they think that if it's just the status quo, it's fine. They don't care. They don't care about the future. But believe it or not, and I say that on the conservative wing, because not all old people are like that. The people on the left, they're like, fuck it. Like for example, the Villages in Florida, which is typically a high conservative community, fenced community, white fenced community in Florida. They're all literally, there was 1,000 golf carts that were campaigning for, that had Kamala Harris signs. So there is progress to be made. Remember, Florida was a state that Trump won in 2020 and 2016. And just say, You know, and now it's a current battleground state, right? So now this state's in play. Now, could Trump still win it? Yeah, I still think he'll win it. But hey, if we win Florida, that's 30 electoral votes. That's more than Pennsylvania, right? Which is like the second highest battleground state, right? So it's incredible. And early voting right now, they said the first day, which was yesterday, I believe, was the highest turnout for early voting for the first day compared to 2020. The highest turnout. And what did I say? What did I say in my previous vlogs? I said we're going to have high voter turnout. We're going to have the highest that we've had since the last election cycle, which the last election cycle was the highest for a sitting president, which was Trump, and the highest for a Republican, and the highest for a Democrat, which was the winner, which was Joe Biden, right? So we're probably going to have another record turnout, and it's going to be crazy. People are going to say it's tight. They're not polling new voters. They're not polling first-time voters, which I think there's going to be a lot of first-time voters that are going to vote for the Democrat, right? There's going to be some that are going to vote Republican. We already know that. They're already part of the Trump MAGA crowd. We already know that. We're not convincing them. They're stuck in the ways, whatever. But I'm saying there's going to be a lot of first-time voters that are going to vote for Harris. Mark my words. That are not in these polls, right? And these polls, again, they're also skewed and they're manipulated where the polls, they underestimated Donald Trump in 2016, massively in 2016, and also they underestimated him in 2020 when he still lost. So now they're compensating to the other end and saying, oh, Donald Trump is leading in these states by a point. Mark my words, motherfucker. I guarantee you when it comes down to election time, he won't be up by a point. Or he won't even be down by a point. It might be a little bit more. Because we have record turnout for black voters for the Democratic Party, especially young black women, since 2020 of June 2020. So, and those are just new registrations. So, and they're typically going to vote Democrat, I assume, because 9 times out of 10 they don't vote Republican. So it's like that's even more turnout ever. So it's like it's ours to lose at this point. I mean. And that's what I'm saying. Democrats, you can't get complacent. You know, if you're campaigning, campaign. If you're donating, donate. I think I donated a little bit, like $5 or whatever. Just get out the vote because you got a lot of these people around you that will vote against their own interests, hurt themselves, hurt their neighborhood, hurt their community, hurt their neighbors by voting for a politician that literally tries to make policies harder for people like me and you, right? So. Get out and vote. Don't convince your MAGA parents or your MAGA sibling or uncle, relative. Doesn't matter. Don't convince them. Don't convince them. Vote. Vote Democrat. Just get out the vote because you're not going to convince them. They're stuck in their ways. They're a cult. They're in a cult. They're cultists. They are. They have no independent thought. They don't care about this country. They literally try to divide you by race, sexuality. They want to roll back LGBTQ protections under the law. They want to make everything harder. All for big business. So get out and vote. Vote.